Hey folks, welcome back to Pokémon Y. We're here in Aquacord Town and we're about to take off to Route 2 and start our Pokémon journey. So without further ado, let's get going. Nice little camera angle there. Now, Avance Trail. So one thing that these special route names do is that they will basically throw in a French word that has something to do with either the design or the purpose of the route. So Avance Trail, I don't remember the exact translation, but you can probably see the common root with advance. Something about moving forward or getting started. Might even be Advanced Trail, I'm not sure. But this is the first place where we will encounter wild Pokémon. Speaking of which... Oh, and it wouldn't be a wild Pokémon encounter if it weren't for Pidgey. Good old Pidgey, our old friend. Now, Route 2 actually has two different Pokemon that I would like to add to my team, neither of which are Pidgey. So I'm just gonna take down this Pidgey for the experience, and then I'm gonna let the NPCs a few feet in front of me show off the catching mechanics. And then I will do some super duper magical editing to actually get to where I want to be. Get to the actual Pokemon catching. So, a little bit of backstory here. Serene's mom and dad are both highly skilled trainers, and so she learned a lot about it as she was growing up. But as you can see, she's a little uncomfortable with that. She kind of wants to make her own statement as a Pokemon trainer and be like, yes, I'm good on my own merits, not just because of what I've learned from my parents. So she's sort of setting out to prove herself on this journey of hers. Anyway, there's a Bunnelby. Bunnelby is, I'm not a super big fan of it. It's the early kind of first route normal in the line of Rattata and Sentret and Zigzagoon. I'm okay with its first form, but when it evolves, I really do not care for it at all. It turns into, I think, a normal ground type once it evolves. So yeah, catching is basically as it always has been. You weaken a Pokemon, maybe inflict a status ailment, and then throw some Pokeballs at it. So already we can see a little bit of what Shauna's into as well. She's really into kind of the friendship and companionship aspect of Pokemon training, developing those relationships, and kind of having an adventure, not really with any set goal other than the living in the moment, the enjoyment of being on that trip. Also, a little bit of change from previous generations. Catching Pokemon gets you experience as well. So you'll get experience not just from defeating, but also from catching. Now then, there are two Pokemon I want to catch, and I'm going to find them, and I'm going to edit until I actually run into them. Alright, here's our first member, a Scatterbug. Yes, I am interested in an early route bug type. Scatterbug's actually, well, the Scatterbug line is actually one of my favorite early route bug types, and probably one of my favorite bug types in general. Wow, Serene gave us a lot of Pokeballs. And the reasons for me liking the Scatterbug line so much will become clear as it evolves. Gotcha. But for now, we've got a level 2 early route bug. Oh, that's gonna be a great asset to our team. So check out this Pokédex description. The powder that covers its body regulates its temperature, so it can live in any region or climate. That's gonna come into play later. That's actually important for its evolution. Alright, now let's go find that other one. And there is our other planned team member for this route, Fletchling. We caught a sneak preview of one back in our house. It is the early route normal flying type. And this one is also very low level, so definitely going to have a lot of training to do for Vivi and Fletchling. I'm going to try to catch it without switching out to Chespin, though. That way Vivi gets all the catching experience. In fact, let's just give it a shot now. Gotcha. Oh man, that wasn't very much experience from catching it. Anyway, despite the beauty of its lilting voice, it's merciless to intruders that enter its territory. If you ever want an example of the two different kinds of its, you got both kinds right here. Yeah, it's a robin. It's pretty cute if you ask me. And I mean, how can I resist calling something Robin when it's a robin? Alright, those are the two Pokemon I wanted to catch on this route for my team, but both of them need a little bit of training before we head up to the next area, so I am going to employ some judicious editing until we get there. So, see you in a bit. Alright, so I have successfully trained Vivi and Robin up to level 5, which I think is a decent enough level to get started on our first dungeon of the game. First we got this trainer. This is our first non-rival battle, and as such he's using early route normal, basically. Now, I should have the advantage here. I have 2 level 5 Pokemon that I plan on using, and he only has 1. And that growl is really annoying, so I'm going to switch out in the interest of time and let Robin do her thing. Nothing too interesting on the move pool front just yet, but Robin, good opportunity to point out there, Robin has the ability Big Pecs, which prevents the opponent from lowering Robin's defense. No such luck with attack though, so Growl will still work, but it's a nice way of keeping Robin's defenses up. Also, one thing it's worth pointing out, I believe that the experience formula was changed so that all Pokemon who directly participate in a battle get the full experience amount. That's what it seemed like from my training. I haven't looked that up on Bulbapedia, but that's what it seems like. Anyway, our first dungeon is Santalune Forest. Let's get in. Now, this may look familiar to some of you. Also, Shauna will heal whenever you talk to her. It's a nice little safety cushion for people who aren't confident in their abilities yet. This may look familiar to those of you who have played certain other Pokemon games. Got the big tree at the entrance, you've got... It's Viridian Forest, alright? It's Viridian Forest. And I think I see why they did it. I think their idea was, hey, let's show the classic fans what their beloved Viridian Forest looks like in fully rendered 3D. And in that sense, okay, cool. It looks pretty legit, but on the other hand, I would have preferred a new area. So if you've been through Viridian Forest, you already know the path. That's an optional side path, then you go to the right and snake around to the top left. One thing I really like, actually, what they do here, is they have all the different rival trainers running around dynamically while you're running around, rather than in some big scripted encounter. So it feels a little more dynamic and alive. Oh man, is it time for a mirror match? It's time for a mirror match. Oh, and it's youngster Joey even. I'm genuinely surprised that the name Youngster Joey hasn't been like retired into the Pokemon Hall of Fame. Like, you know how American football teams will retire a number because some amazing player had that number and no one can ever be that number again? I'm genuinely surprised that they haven't done that with Youngster Joey. Because, I mean, it's evident that this youngster's Scatterbug is nowhere near the top percentage of Scatterbug, because my Scatterbug just took care of it. Oh, and let's switch over to our old Fletchling. I was doing it before it was cool. Now's a good opportunity to point out that in lieu of a proper weird challenge like I've done with a lot of other series, I've decided to just play through this series with the battle styles set to set rather than shift, meaning I can't switch out in anticipation of the opponent's next Pokemon. It's honestly a style of gameplay that I haven't really experimented with, and I'm curious to see if it makes a noticeable difference in difficulty. Because it may be the hidden hard mode that's been in the game series this entire time. Sound advice. Now, Santalune Forest has a lot of Pokemon in it. In fact, most of the routes in the game have a ton of different kinds of Pokemon, and most of them are exclusive to that route. They kind of refresh every route. So in this area, you actually have Caterpie, Weedle, Metapod, Kakuna, Scatterbug, Fletchling, Pikachu, and the Pan Monkeys. You got a lot of Pokemon in here. The routes in this game are just chock full of Pokemon. Now, something I don't want to demonstrate physically because it would be a waste of time. I believe this started with Gen 6, maybe Gen 5, I have a bad memory. But electric types are now completely immune to paralysis. So Stun Spore, even though it's a grass move, cannot paralyze this Pikachu. Oh, and you may have caught real quickly there. They changed the formatting for Thundershock. Now it's 2 words shock capitalized rather than being all smashed together like it's been before. Gradually over time, the Pokemon series has made little adjustments like that to make things a little bit less relics of a bygone era with limited character space. I like to think this last is a reference to the lass in Viridian who couldn't find a Pikachu. Alright, we're almost done with this route here. This dungeon, I should say. We just got, I think, 2 more Pokemon to grab. Or 2 more trainers to fight. Now, Vivi here, I believe, is a good Pokemon to use against Weedles. Because Weedles, as I have complained about at length in various other series, love to poison you. They've got Poison Point as an ability, and they have Poison Sting as their primary method of attack. But Vivi here has the ability Shield Dust, which I'm pretty sure means that she's immune to status ailments. Because it certainly doesn't prevent stat changes. So it's a pretty good ability, honestly. Alright, let's grab this item real quick. We are in no shortage of Pokeballs. There's no final boss. I was mixing my memories of Viridian with this one. So one of the reasons they're throwing so many Pokeballs at you is that there are so many Pokemon to catch, including this Pansage, for example. I did at one point try to do a run of this game catching every Pokemon on every route. I was spending all my money on Pokeballs. It was ridiculously expensive. I couldn't buy any clothes. It sucked. Alright, and this is where I'm going to wrap up this episode. And next time we will take the last couple steps towards Santaloon City. So, thanks for watching, and I will see you guys next time.